Hi there, this is Keith again. I'm just going to try and do a very quick experiment this morning. What I've got is actually some paint which I made yesterday in one of the other clips. I hope I can get the lid off. It's some of the sort of from the terracotta type pigment that I'd prepared. As you see, it's actually, I was quite surprised at that. It's just pure, that is purely the terracotta pigment ground down and incorporated with water. As you can see, it's just very watery, but within that it's remained in suspension, which I'm quite surprised about, because it's had a good 24-48 hours for it to potentially separate. What I want to try and do though, however, and this is my first experiment, if you like, of using an extender combiner. In this instance, I'm going to use some plaster. What I want to try to create is a thicker bodied, impasto almost, paint. So I'm just going to add directly into this, because there's plenty of water in there. Normally you might need to add a bit more water, I would have thought, because I just want a little sample. So I'm just going to add directly into that some plaster and mix that in, and hopefully as that begins to set, it'll be quite a short working time, I will be able to give it considerable body. I'm just interested whether the pigment will permeate through the plaster as well. So here we go, I'm just going to add now a little bit of plaster to this. I'll use a little palette knife just to start mixing that in. It's going to obviously take quite a bit more than that. It's still very, very loose, but I just want to add it a little bit at a time. Still very runny, as you can see. It's mixing in quite easily, but it's not what I quite like at the moment is that it's the whiteness of the plaster is not lightening substantially anywhere the colour of the terracotta pigment. So I'll add a little bit more again, but just slightly becoming a little bit more pasty. You can just start to see there at the edges. And I've got a little bit of cardboard as a sampler, which I want to try and just paint onto afterwards, just see what effect again. It's taking quite a lot more plaster than I actually anticipated. Now it's starting to, you begin to see that it becoming thicker. You can see that now it's becoming more sort of, rather than watery, creamy, I'd say, sort of like almost a double cream sort of thickness. I just love the I just love the textures, and sort of very, very smooth. Just add a little bit more. Right, now I feel that is starting to give that a really good mix. Could probably have done with, I don't know, if I was doing it live, probably a bit of a whisk or something. That might be something, as I say, just an experiment at this stage. I want to try and catch this almost just as it's going off, because I want to see if I can get some. You can see though the actual colour of it. I hope that sort of shows up. If I put another light on, it might help. it's still got, you know, it's still retained that deep earth orangey almost colour. I'm just going to actually, on part of the paper that I had, a piece of cardboard actually, just do a little smear with that as it is at this stage. I'll use a paintbrush. As you can see, it's starting to stick. Let's just see how that goes in terms of coverage. I'll just do a little bit there in that corner. I'm laying that on quite thick, I'm just letting it cool almost. I'll do a couple of actual longer brush strokes. You can see there is a bit of body in that. It's not exactly, you know, sort of impasto, but it's got a little bit of texture to it, a little bit of body. Just wash this brush, I don't want it going off. So I will add just a little bit more plaster now, so I can get that real sort of thickness to it. It's actually having considerable bulk because there's only a little bit of water really in there when the liquid pigment, if you like, at the start. The plaster's actually really quite bulked that up. Now there is evidence from the archaeology that they did use extenders, or what we call extenders now, and there's various things that they found, calcium carbonate and talc particularly. I'm just trying to hurry this along now. Just for it. You can see it's getting really sort of thick. The thing obviously with plaster is that that will set and it will set very hard. Well, I'm hoping it will. And in terms of trying to make an impasto that you've got a bit more working time with, I'd probably have to look at something else. I'll just try a little bit more. As I say, it's the first time doing this, so it's very much an experimental. This is where you find that you've just added too much, but it's starting to incorporate. But I can feel it starting to go off as well. But not sort of catching it yet. As you can see, it is actually now getting, you can see real sort of a textural body in that, or what I'd call, it's getting that feel of going from a paint to being coloured plaster. I'm just going to take some of that out now at this stage. Apply that in this sort of thickness. and you can see it's really quite standing up there. If I lift that up, it's got a real body to it. It's still pooling a bit. I think it's still trying to, probably because I've not mixed it fantastically well just with this. I'll leave that example there. I'm just going to try it even a bit further with the plaster. See how far we can go. Now I may have just overdone it there, as you can see. It's it can be quick and try to incorporate that. And that's really quite very thick now. In fact, the plaster's almost going off. But I quite like that, and there's this probably this little period where you can probably get some really. I'm just going to get the larger palette knife now. You can see that. You can get some real sort of body to that. What you can see there, that you've got, you've got a substantial sort of depth to that. I don't know if I can put that sort of sideways on and still show it. It's a bit tricky under this light, but that's standing proud of the actual cardboard by about up to, I'd say, just over a centimetre. That's really sort of thick in past having anybody's books. Right, I'm going to leave that now and see how that dries. I better clean up the tools with the plaster. I need to do that outside because I don't want to block the drains. Okay, well that's hopefully another useful experiment conducted.